If Betsy's out there,
I started the recording.
is Betsy out there?
Not yet.
She's trying to get in.
Ah, David, that looks good. I can't hear you. You're muted.
While we're waiting, I was messing around with backgrounds, but I don't like where it sticks your head in a circle in the background. It doesn't look good.
On a planet?
Yeah, so like look at this. And that doesn't look good.
It's like David's world. That's the raised her
I'll
hand.
go with your look there, the blur.
Hold on, I gotta move. Betsy, why didn't she come over? Oh, there she is. Okay. Betsy, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry about that.
Can you guys see that box on my screen while I'm
Yep.
sharing?
Yes.
I
That
see the
says
agenda.
participants. Okay. All right, we need one more. Is everyone ready for Thanksgiving?
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, what's your favorite side, David?
Well, I am a mashed potatoes and gravy kind of guy, but my family has a recipe from the West Indies, peas and rice that I like as well. That's a old West Indian family recipe.
Nice. Ben, what about you? Favorite one?
Geez, I guess stuffing. See, I'm the one who's doing all the cooking on Thursday, so I'm just all stressed out trying to make sure I've got everything in hand, and haven't even nailed down the number of people coming yet. It's somewhere between 9 and 13.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's gonna be a huge meal. I got a 23-pound turkey, and I was scavenging at Wegmans today trying to make sure I've got everything else I'm gonna need.
Ugh.
Wow. And favorite side?
So I like stuffing. That's my go-to. But my family has actually already had our Thanksgiving, so we're not really celebrating this week. We have a weird tradition of doing it in October before my in-laws go down to Florida for the season. So we've already had the whole turkey dinner, and we're just taking it easy this week.
Oh,
For
wow.
you.
Art.
And Freddie, favorite side?
I'll go with stuffing.
All right. That's a popular one. Betsy?
Sweet potatoes with pecans.
Nice.
Mm.
See, yeah, right?
Ben, I think Annie just volunteered to help you out since she's not doing much. So I think you're good.
I'm pretty
You know the
lousy
help I
with
can
it, so I don't know if you want my help.
No, honestly, people will come and a half dozen people will want to help, and I'll have to chase them out of the kitchen so I can move around and get it all done.
Great.
Sam, we're waiting for a quorum.
Kristen did say she'd be here tonight, so
Yeah.
she's trying to get in.
Okay. Mark said he could make it too, right?
I don't know if he ever responded.
He did, and he said he'd be here.
Okay,
And I heard Kristen is trying to get here. Sometime Mark gets tied up at work, I think. Traffic.
He could be cooking already too. I've already started my gravy.
oh, good job. So what's the least favorite side?
That's a good question. So
That shredded bean dish with like the cream of mushroom soup and the breadcrumbs on it.
Yes.
What's that called?
Oh, it's
I have-
a green bean casserole with
There we
campbell
go.
soup, and what do they put in those dried onions on top?
Oh, yes, that's right.
Pretty
haven't
hideous.
seen it in
My
a few
aunt
years.
always made it. Ugh.
my family used to do that. What's that like tomato aspect with the like jello and stuff?
Ugh.
I never liked that.
Yeah.
That was never. It doesn't make it on my table.
Nope. Does anybody like mince pie?
I like
Yeah,
my ice cream.
no.
When we were kids, my uncle used to tell us that it was made out of little minces, like little mice.
Oh,
Never had mincemeat pie yet.
all right. So what's your favorite dessert?
Pecan cranberry pie.
Oh, yum.
Do you make that too, Ben?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get the desserts done tomorrow, so that they'll be
Nice.
just sitting in the fridge overnight and I can get up early and get working on the turkey.
That sounds great. Sounds great, like a great New England dessert. I was gonna say pecan pie, but the cranberry, that adds another
It's-
layer to it.
It does. It's my mother-in-law's recipe. It's really good.
Nice.
Wow. That's nice. She shared it.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I just talked to Mark. He's logging on now.
Oh, great.
Oh, there's Kristen. Okay. I want to promote to panelist. Kristen, can you hear me? You're on mute.
Well, we can change that here. First, we start the video. Okay.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Mark.
It's,
All right, hold on. All right.
my email chain, I thought it was 7:30. I'm awfully sorry.
I think that was last meeting.
All right, I've had a crazy day, I gotta tell you, and it's not over yet, but
I hear you. I hear you. Let's see, Kristen, I try to promote her. to
Yeah, I'm here,
panelist.
Kristen Clary. I was trying to log in from my phone, which has a.
Oh, there you
invitation has a Teams. Yeah, the invitation has a Teams link versus this one, so I had to get to a computer where I could use the town site.
go. Okay. All right, so we have a quorum. Woo, excellent. All right, so everyone can see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so let's see. So this is Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022, 7 p.m. It's a little bit after due to some technical challenges getting a quorum. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of the 2021 and Act relative to the extended creation of the COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, signed into law on June 16th, 2021. This meeting will be conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance by members of the public will be permitted. So first order of the agenda is to call the meeting to order. Just did. So then we still had a finalized project closeout form. So I think we still had a review happening of that.
Okay, just try.
Sorry, was that Freddie?
Andrew
Yeah,
and committee, I apologize. I meant to send out the one we reviewed last time. I mean, I don't think anything changed. But why don't you skip that because you don't have it in front of you, and I just didn't get to it because of other complications I've had.
yeah, no problem. So the next one is the public records request. I think I touched on it a little bit the last time. So we're still working with the town on the response for this. Mark Purple is helping navigate this as we go through. to make sure we're compliant with the request. So there's, we're still working on that one. Which ties into the next one, the discussion of the Southborough Historic Society invoice 2119 dated August 9th, 2022. This one, so I did reach out to the Historical Society, let them know. I invited them to tonight's meeting. I did get a response from Michael saying that they would not be attending because they hadn't heard anything or hadn't had a conclusion to the records request yet. So we'll see what happens on that, but that's the update I have right now when it comes to the invoice. So any questions?
Any idea how long it's gonna take to respond to the request?
So well, it's according to Mark, it's kind of back in Michael's hands right now to see if he wants what the next step is. The town has done a poll of a number of emails, and they said it's going to take some time for someone to go through over 2,000 emails to identify the specific ones he's interested in, and asked him for a sum of money to do that work. And then waiting to see if he's actually going to pay it to have that done. So we'll see what, that says if I talk to Mark today about that. So we'll sit on that and wait until we get a response from them about that invoice in terms of what work was being done for that. So
Okay.
any other questions? All right. Next item, review of project applications. I don't know, I haven't seen anything new, Freddie, in terms of the Algonquin Regional High School.
So at our last meeting, afterwards, someone suggested that we had asked for more information from them. And our minutes don't reflect that. I need to go back and listen to the meeting. Because someone said they thought we requested specifics, but the minutes reflect that we didn't ask them to provide anything else. So it's here in case they got back to us. Does anyone recall that they were looking for something else from them?
Well, I thought they were going to go through and identify specifically what they thought we could pay for.
Okay, so they had said, and it wasn't maybe that specific. The minutes reflect. Oh, right, sorry. It went over what they're asking us for, so I think you could want specifics. If you want to work with me, Andrew, I'll write up an email request of what we're looking for. You want just the specifics of what they are actually want to fund, right?
Right.
Did anyone else have a input on that? And we'll make sure that I get an email to them so they can respond for our next meeting's a short time away on the 2nd, so
Yeah.
it's not putting us out too far.
Okay. And then the Open Space Preservation Commission
Oh.
project in the library status. I heard that they are working on, they have made some traction on the preservation restriction. I don't know if you've heard anything different, Freddie,
I'm sorry, you're saying a preservation restriction? What?
on
Oh.
on the library.
Yeah, this is different, but I'll ask them to come for our next meeting. I heard they're working on it. They have a company, an entity that's willing to hold the PR on the library. This here is related to the Pollinator Preservation Garden CPA application that's been put on hold because of the adjacent park uncertainty. And I don't know, did I mention it to you guys that when they did the archaeological dig, it came over onto the library grounds because there was questions about there possibly being indigenous remains there. And I've seen that report, which found no indigenous remains on any of the St. Mark's property or the library grounds, but that's been submitted to the Mass Historical Commission. And I've heard that we're getting a report any day now back from the Massachusetts Historical Commission, which will let us move forward on that other park. But the Open Space Commission had told you and decided not to move forward until that was sort of resolved because they're adjacent. And we do have a meeting with the library trustees next month, and we hope to have it wrapped up. Doesn't make sense to do the project on the library, on the park, and leave the library grounds pretty much a mess. So I'll follow up on that next month.
Okay,
It won't be, because we'll have to meet in the next meeting if I have any info from the Mass Historical. Just so you know, so they were doing an archaeological dig in the area. We're planning to do some plantings. So that was it.
all right.
Okay.
Any questions on those two? All right, next one, the budget. Let me see. I had something, here we go.
So do you want me to talk to this?
Yes, please.
So without going into tons of detail, we did get more information since our last meeting. Remember, I told you this was a guesstimate draft budget, and it's a little bit less guesstimate this round, but we still don't know everything. So we did get a better number for how much fiscal year that we're in now, 23 surcharges billed. So that is this number up top on the left, 412. And Brian Valentine estimated a 4% increase in taxes this year, which gave us the new number. So the blue follows over to the estimated budget number, right? The column on the left. And then we did get the state match this year. It came in at 30%, and we had budgeted 35% last year. Usually, for under, we take if we budgeted under, we get more, we have to make a reconciliation. However, they did get the 20 million in surplus funds from the state, but that won't be distributed into January, and they're estimating that's going to be another 5%. So we should be pretty close to what we budgeted last year. So that will be good news. But then it goes down to, just want to clue you in on the estimated state match. This is always a best information gut feeling of what we might come up with. We've been getting 35, 48% recently. I put it down to 20% for next year because there's no guarantee we're going to get the surplus cash. And if you scroll up a little bit on this spreadsheet, can you do that?
That's the top.
I want to go down further.
Oh.
Oh, it's not here? Well,
Sorry,
5
the
towns
next one,
and
this one?
no, back where you were. 5 towns in the city of Worcester have CPA on the ballot, and I think most of them passed, which means you're going to have more drawdown of the state match fund, trust fund. So I don't think it's wise to go too high until we know. You can always take the adjustment. So that's it on that. And then if you go over to the budget, because our surcharge went up, and we still have maybe an adjustment. This here gives you how much we plan to take in for the year, and still an estimate. So do you see on the bottom?
Hold on
Well,
1 second, I'm trying to do some math here.
did something not add up?
Yeah, I think the 20% of the 429,318 is actually 85,000, not.
Yeah, so here's the thing for those that don't remember or who are new. The state match isn't against next year's income, it's against the prior year's income. So that 82 is against fiscal year 23 surcharge.
Okay. So,
So that's why that's different. So here we have the reserves at the top. So we have the running balance of all the 3 reserve accounts, and then the 51,188 is the estimated 10%. Then you have the new balance, and then if there's anything coming out against it at this point in our discussions. So we always will take out, we have big bonds for historical, so we zero out that account. And then this is the only really interesting new part here. We had carried over from fiscal year 23 as of July 1st, July 1st, 2022, right? Sorry, it was fiscal year 22 carried over. So on July 1st, we had $938,663. But we had that discussion about losses in the investments. And what happens is the town goes to report what's in the accounts to Department of Revenue as of a certain date on this form called the CP2. And they have to document how much is in the account. And at that time, when they documented it, there was $574,505. Does that make sense? Somebody nod. All right. So then what happens is, since that point, that's set in stone, but we can only spend what we have in the accounts. And since that time, there was some more losses. So we had a budgeted reserve that was an account, and that had been on July 1st, 409,28. But it's now 336,492 is the last update. So that went down a little bit. And then the one in green is from budgeted 24 from the prior page. And that gives us the total amount of unrestricted funds. There's 3 accounts, but they are all can be used for any of the 3: historical, open space, housing, and the recreation as well. And then if you go down, I took out what we believe to have in expenses, except the townhouse bond. There's 2 issues here. We bonded at a certain dollar amount, but that has to go out to bid, and that may, cost have gone up. We don't know if that's going to be more than we already budgeted. But on top of that, the interest could be different. And the most recent we heard, we didn't even know if they were going to bond it. So that number, the 147, 175, was based on a projection a few years ago. And we have no idea what it is. That makes sense to people?
oh,
It does.
I
Just one
understand.
quick question. One quick question. The Burnett House bond, I had a recollection that was like 89,000.
It
Is it-
is. Sorry, you have to kind of go over here to down below where it is this year, it's 77,973.
Okay,
But we have the historic reserve we spend on one of the bonds.
Oh, okay.
So I
gotcha.
take it out, so that blue
Yep.
goes up to the blue. You can sort of follow it. The townhouse,
you.
sorry, it's always hard, which one's chicken or the egg do you go over first? Then we have the library bond, and that, and it was just you could have taken the 51,000 out of the library bond. It doesn't matter which one you take it out of, right? One of them, they're both historical. The townhouse that has question marks, we don't know. The Algonquin Athletic Complex. The original amount was like 974,000 on their application. Right now, they've come down to 745,963. So I just put that in with a little bit of a question mark, but and then for the open space pollinator habitat, I took that amount, which we haven't finalized, but that is out of the open space funds above, so it's not going to impact the account balances. So you can see, if you go back over to the account balances, the total funds under the green right there, 1,243,716. That's an estimate of how much we have in those accounts to spend in addition to the reserves. And then if you go down below, the total potential appropriations is 985, 962. So if those numbers stay somewhat steady, you have enough funds to do all those projects.
So we'd only have 225,000 or 240,000 left, give or take, if we do everything.
If you do everything, it could be less because the townhouse bond, even if, so we got an email tonight asking what happens if it is a lot, if it costs more. And that's a different topic than if, how am I putting this? So I think we budgeted like 1.2 million. So that's
Right.
something like, okay, about that. So if the costs go up to say 1.5 million, that's that other 300,000 would have to be raised, like going back to town meeting or something. But if the 1.2 million went up because the bond amount went up because of increased interest rates, that's something we have to pay because we agreed to pay it, that amount, right? I shouldn't say agree to pay. The warrant article approved bonding a certain amount of money, and we didn't tie it to an interest rate. It was based on best projections at the time.
Right.
So even if the price is the same, that bonding amount might go up, but we just got an indication that when they go out to bid, the price might even be higher. So that could be a potential for the CPC to consider, depending what it comes back at, if you wanted to go to town meeting to raise more for that.
Yeah, I think the last I talked to John Parent, he said that, that he was concerned about when it went out to bid the project for the townhouse, what the costs were going to be, just increasing costs for materials, labor, everything else. So he wasn't sure, what they were going to come back at. So that's supporting what Freddie was saying. We just don't know yet what, there was even talk of maybe just postponing everything, wait till the prices come down again, and then put it out to bid a second time. Is one thing John thought could be a strategy. He didn't say that's what's going to happen, but he's looking at all options, realizing that the costs are just through the roof right now and not knowing what the bid will come in at. So, or the bids. So, okay.
Isn't there,
So,
isn't there a good chance that the Algonquin project will probably end up being lower than 745? That's what they're asking right now, but anticipating.
really? You think so? I think they think we could actually pay more. And I'm guessing, that the town is going to look for us to pay as much as we feel comfortable. Yeah, but there's always the possibility that they could ask for less, but in my experience, most of them come back asking for more.
But that represents what they want, not necessarily what withstands scrutiny as far as, you know, being fundable under the act.
They said they took a pretty good crack at it the first time. That's why we
Really?
went back and wanted
Alright.
to actually compartmentalize the different pieces.
All right.
I think
But-
that's why it went from 974 down to 745.
Yeah.
So always the question, is this the town meeting? Folks are gonna wanna spend,
Sorry, what was that, Freddie?
never mind. We budget on what we think we have and what we can, I mean, you budget on what you think.
Yeah.
You can afford. Not whether town meeting will support it.
So Freddie, thank you for putting this together. I know from past experience doing it, it is tedious, time consuming and meticulous work. So thank you.
You're
Much-
welcome. And just know that this is still an estimate because we don't have the 20,000, the 20 million distribution, but it's getting much closer right now. We don't have the bond money, but
Yeah.
after some of the information we received about investments, I didn't think it would be this good and this robust of a balance, which is nice to see.
Thank you.
Nicely done, Freddie. Thanks.
Any other questions on the budget? Alrighty then. Draft review of annual town meeting warrant.
I asked Andrew to put this on because the selectmen opened the warrant. And I heard there were discussion of 2 articles that related to CPA. But I thought they were like a draft warrant article and I requested a copy of it from Melanie and assistant to Mark Purple. And she said they didn't have anything in writing yet, so that's premature. But there could be some warrant articles relating to CPC that are not CP or to CPA that are not CPC generated. So when that happens, you'll want to stay aware of that, okay? And if I hear anything, I'll send it along, but I haven't gotten any formal notification that anything of what exactly those 2 articles are. If anyone else knows.
Nope. I mean,
Does this has something to do with the rumor of trying to increase the CPA percentage? Is that,
Well, that is one that is out there, but the committee hasn't been approached yet formally. for
Yeah,
this
yeah,
warrant,
no,
have they?
the rumor has been circulating, but certainly it's never been discussed at CPC, which has been confusing. I feel like we probably should be part of the discussion at some point if it's going to move forward.
So I'm not going to try to second guess. I just had heard that was, there were 2 proposed and I couldn't get a documentation.
Kathy Cook did reach out to me. She wanted to talk to me. She was suggested today. We never connected, so I have no update from if that is coming. So. Any other questions on that? Okay. Review a timeline for annual town meeting 2023. So I know we're still going for the Saturday in March, right? That's what they're looking at.
Correct. I was trying to, Andrew, you had sent me something from Mark Purple. That's not helpful to everyone else. I apologize. I'm still a little under the weather here.
Yeah, I know they're gonna hold, I think, spots for us as normal for the CPC. But it was just the timeline when it was open and when it was closed.
So the warrant is open right now. It's a matter of when we have to have the, no, that's not it, sorry. It's a matter of when we have to have information to the selectmen, but we still have some time because I think it's going to print February 22nd. I don't know where I pulled that out of, so don't quote me on that, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I can't find it. You had sent it to me, Andrew. You got it from Karina, I think. Well, we're meeting on is it the 1st of December?
I think
I
it's.
think it's the second. Hold on, I'll check. Oh, no. Yeah, the first. Sorry, you're right.
So I will send that out to everyone tonight so that you'll have it, okay? But
Okay,
we still have time. So we
Yeah.
have to, so for Kristen, who's new, we have to finalize the budget. We have to make the the committee has to make a recommendation on which projects, how much, and from what accounts they're going to spend them out of. The draft of the budget sort of does that already, but you have to vote to approve. That's what you want, that you agree to that, and that's where you want it to come. So you'll need to finalize if this Open Space Commission's project moves forward, if you support it, and then financing the Algonquin project. And then if we get information about the townhouse before the warrant closes. And then we write
Okay.
up the warrant articles. There will also be in that document, we also have a timeline for when the annual report is due. And usually you ask Betsy to write it up and then you have to review it and approve it.
yeah, I was gonna ask Betsy if she could start drafting up a annual report.
Yep, I'll
Sorry,
have it
Susan.
ready by December 1st.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Freddie, one question I had, and I apologize because I feel like we might have covered this last time and I just don't remember, or I probably have access to the information, but how much is Northborough asking for from their CPC for Algonquin Regional, for the athletic complex project?
It would be in the application that I don't have on me right now. We can look at it next meeting.
No problem.
Or if somebody
Of course,
wants to
yep.
look at it. I think it's based on a percentage system. And I think the percentage of CPA per town is comparable.
Yeah, well,
And that
well,
was-
there was a percentage that breakdown between what we owe and what Northborough would pay. And then from there was an additional breakdown for like, okay, of the Southborough portion, this is how much we're asking for, requesting from the CPC, and that's where we were trying to get a specific breakdown, like, okay, what are you specifically asking us to pay for? There's a lot more in the overall project, but we wanted to be able to say, okay, if we are funding, going to go to town meeting, the money is specifically for X, Y, and Z, not the things that we can't fund. So.
Okay. And I'll do my homework because I know this information is probably all out there, so I apologize. But the other question, and I have to imagine it, because I think I do recall it being discussed, is kind of how we split the time with recreation. Turf is valuable for sure. as demonstrated by the last soccer season. I think we talked about this last time, so I'd just be interested in if those details have been discussed.
Yeah, so recreation itself doesn't have its own bucket set aside. It wasn't when the CPA was set up originally.
Oh, no. Sorry, just more so, however the funding agreement is kind of put out where Northboro's, if it's percentage based, which would make sense, then also have we talked to Northborough about when that field's available outside of high school sports athletic hours, availability to the towns for recreational use, if that's even a consideration, but.
Yeah, no, I did bring that question up when they met with us a month or so ago. They said that we could, it is allowed to be used, just not during school hours, I think. So, but
I
well,
think-
they'll be back also.
Also, after the meeting, I believe Keith emailed the PowerPoint presentation. I can resend that. I thought I sent it right afterwards, as well as.
You probably did, Betty. You probably did. Don't worry. I'll look and I'll let you know.
Well, I
if
think
not.
for everyone to know, and then also, they did a pretty thorough presentation at our last meeting. I can send a link out to that and tell you what minute it would be, and that would be helpful to watch, maybe. Because it gets a little
Yeah.
overwhelming. Here's a question, I don't know if, does anyone recall asking? What happens if Southborough passes it and Northborough doesn't? We'll
I
have
don't
money
recall
tied
that.
up in an account.
Yeah,
You may wish
Good
to
question.
make a contingency on, dependent on both towns passing it, or, you have that discussion with them, but what happens? You don't want to tie up $700,000 for a project that's not moving forward.
right, for a year before we can take
Right.
it back.
Yeah, so just, I can ask, if you wish, I can ask the coalition if they've run into that before with a split project, how they recommend handling it.
No, that'd be great to have that in our back pocket in preparation. So if you could do that, please.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on the timeline? All right. Next, chairman's report. I pretty much covered everything on the agenda. So I don't have anything else to add. I talked about that Kathy was trying to reach out to me to touch base, but we didn't connect today, so I keep everyone updated when that happens. So the next vote of officers of the community preservation. We haven't done this in a while, so thought this was appropriate now that we have new members and everything to go through and vote on positions in the CBC, mainly the chair and vice chair. So I am open to any suggestions for chair. Anyone?
Andrew Mills?
No. Betsy, you can't vote.
I think that's a great idea.
I think you've done a great job this past year, Andrew. And,
Absolutely.
So
Navigating us through these challenging times.
Okay, I will take it if you want me to. So there needs to
Thank
be
you.
a motion in a second.
Yes.
Motion to keep Andrew Mills as chair of the Community Preservation Committee.
Second.
So there was a second.
Yes. And a third.
All right, all those in favor, I'm gonna go as I see people, Ben,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes,
Ann,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
and I will abstain. So next, vice chair.
I say yes too.
Oh, sorry, David, I
Yeah.
missed you there. Sorry about that. But with the way I have it set up, usually, because I'm sharing my screen, I have to scroll through, so I apologize for that. So Betsy, you got that? It's,
Yep, got it.
okay. So next, for
Congratulations.
vice chair. Any recommendations for vice chair?
Ben?
I make a motion for Ben Smith to continue as vice chair. He's been very supportive and helpful over the last year.
I second.
Oh, good. Any discussion? I'm gonna mute Ben so he can't talk.
He can cook.
We'd love to have you, Ben.
No, yeah, I'm certainly willing to go again for another year. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
All right, I'm gonna go as I see people. David,
Yes.
Ben,
Abstain.
Mark,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes.
and Andrew is a yes. All right. Next piece here that we have is meeting minutes. So I actually had a couple things, Betsy, on
Okay.
page. You can see my screen here, page 4.
Yep. Yep,
Top.
yep.
Motion by Ben Smith, seconded and Fan to make the final payment. It wasn't the final payment because we got another one later. So let's take final out.
Okay.
And then below that,
Excuse me,
yeah,
I think that was the motion. You can't, I don't think you can change a motion to what you want it to be versus what it was.
I think we believed at the time that it was the final payment. I think we had been told that the scope of work had been completed.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
okay. As long as everyone's on board with it, because I just want, this is, I want to make sure this is all clear and we're all on the same page. So we keep that. Okay, but the next one where it says $5,000,
Yep.
is not 5,000. The total for that is $5,092.50.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And I might have said that around 5,000, but now that I see it, I want to be,
Absolutely. I'll change it.
see that there, so $5,092.50. And it's invoice 2119.
Got it.
Any other changes to the meeting minutes?
What's the date of this?
Meeting minutes? This was September 21st.
I had one.
Okay.
Can you scroll down to, I think it was in this one. Does it talk about the open space project?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. I'm not making edits, but I'm recommending that someone on the committee does so. That it's confusing where it says the CPC had funded a consulting fee. Because F. Gillespie, it sounds like because I'm a consultant, I just want to separate the two so that no one is confused that you funded me to do this. So the CPC had funded a
So take out the first, what I highlighted.
Had provided
just-
initial funding. Would that work? The CPC had provided initial funding to the OSPC.
yeah, something
For
like that. I'd like to take out consulting altogether because it can be confusing, even if you don't have my name, because my name's mentioned. I'm the one who's talking about it, so that you would, what do you call that? An investigatory,
Geez. Mark, you always have a good turn of phrase. It's the,
a landscape, a landscape review. Does that sound okay?
yeah,
Project
CPC.
review.
That
Project.
sounds fair.
That's fine.
Okay,
Okay, got it.
all right. So is there a motion to accept the meeting minutes as amended? Is
So moved.
there a second?
Second,
All those in favor? David,
yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes.
and Kristen.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent.
Excuse me, Andrew.
Yes.
I don't think we ever discussed this. I don't know if we can do this under business of the CPC, but Freddie and I sat down with Brian Valentine and I'm drawing a blank on the town accountant's name. To talk about the
The investment.
behind the scenes investment details of our funds. And we never really reported back to the committee the contents of that discussion.
Can I
I will
jump in?
put that on the first agenda item for the next meeting on the
Okay.
on the first.
Yeah, nothing earth shattering, but I felt like we should.
Thanks, Ben.
You could, and I'm sorry I ran over it during the budget because I went over those line items, if that, but you wanted a specific line item of a specific agenda item, and it's not that far away on the first, Andrew.
Yeah, let's just, if you're okay with tabling till then, I'll make it the first thing.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
Next meeting is December 1st. Any other questions?
Are we also approving the October meeting minutes?
October 20th?
Yes,
Yeah.
we need to approve those.
I didn't see that. Okay. Okay, is there a motion to approve the October 20th meeting minutes?
So I just had one quick change. So at the beginning, it said that I was present, but I wasn't. So I just, for the record, wanted that to be corrected. I'm not listed on any of the motions or anything. So, but just I wasn't in attendance.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I will take you
Okay.
off.
One second here. Okay, any other changes to those meeting minutes? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second,
Second,
all those in favor? David,
yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Kristen?
I I think I need to abstain. I don't think I was at that meeting.
Okay, and Andrew is a yes. Okay. All right. And let's see, I think that's it. I hope everyone has an amazing Thanksgiving or just a lazy day if you're not celebrating because you already celebrated.
We all may wish to walk by Ben's house on Friday.
Just to make sure he's okay.
Yeah. Well, to pick up some leftovers.
I was
Oh,
thinking of
yeah,
bringing,
that
I was
too.
thinking of
There
Tupperware.
may
in the-
be,
That
there may be
too.
a lot of leftovers.
Yeah, that's a big bird. You gotta start cooking early.
Yeah, I think it's got to go in the oven somewhere around 6 o'clock in the morning to be done in time for a 1 o'clock dinner.
Oh, my gosh.
You
It'll-
might
I've
want
done
to
it-
try
I've done it
like
before.
doing one of those chicken fryers, turkey fryers. They say those cook really fast.
Yeah, I looked into a couple of different things. You can also, there's this way you can sort of lay it flat and make it cook much more quickly. And I'm just going the traditional route, and I've had good luck in the past, so.
Well, good luck.
That's great.
Oh, motion to adjourn.
Oh, is
Yeah, all right.
All right.
there a
Have
second?
something.
Second,
Happy
Alright.
Thanksgiving.
All those in favor, David,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
and
Yes.
Mark,
yes.
and Andrew is a yes. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
you.
you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
All right.
Thanksgiving.
Everyone.
Too.
Um,